guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go ahead and go over the book Girl Boss. This is from Sophia Amoruso. This is basically an autobiography of how she started her company. So let's jump into it. But first things first, it starts off with 3 important follow these rules all the time. So her top 3 rules are: don't ever grow up, don't become a bore, and don't ever let the man get to you. These are just things that if you read her book, you'll see like, ah, yes, this is very fitting for her character. And it's so great to see how she kind of like evolved and everything with it. The first story that she tells that sticks with me is the red kite, or the red string kite story. So basically, whenever she was in her early primary school days, she had a red string and she would run around with it behind her and pretend like it was a kite. Of course, it was just a string, but everyone went ahead and, saw that she would do this, and she'd be like, it's a kite, it's a kite, it's a kite. So then soon enough, a bunch of other kids also got strings and ran around with their kites as well too. And the moral of that story is basically that if you believe in something enough and you continue to do it, soon enough, other people will go ahead and follow suit. Another very important lesson is know where to source. So this is something because she actually got a lot of her clothes and everything from thrift stores. Knowing where to source her clothes from thrift stores, and knowing where you're supposed to source your things from for, literally whatever your business is, where to get your resources and everything from is so vital to your business. Probably one of my favorite takeaways from this book is actually here in the beginning. So it says, don't find customers, find friends. Make sure that you respond and listen to what they want and what they don't want. And so she had started her business on eBay, got her customers and everything through MySpace, but she didn't have them as customers necessarily. She added them as friends on MySpace and then had transferred them over to her eBay site where she sold all her clothes. And they were like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. I love your work. It was great. She was able to take people that you don't want to see somebody as a customer to start with. You want to see them, as a friend. Start having a nurturing relationship with them so you can build it up and they'll trust you. Another thing that she said is to delegate your time and to grow your business and get ready for the launch and do everything before then. Another rule is to not celebrate too early. Whenever she's saying that, it's, being sure that you have absolutely all your ducks in a row before you even get started or start announcing or anything like that. Your next step. Next is give them more than just your product. So she had sold clothes, but what she was selling, it could have been the exact same shirt as another vendor, but because of the way she styled it, the lifestyle that kind of went into it, the story of her photos and her clothes and everything like that too. She's selling style inspiration. She's selling a lifestyle. She's selling outfit inspiration. Different things like that is what's going to sell your products. More than just your product will sell your product. Another one on here is timing is everything. Create deadlines and exceed expectations. That is so important for just life in general. But with everything going on with the virus, working from home, I have to set deadlines for myself. I have to be sure that I regulate what I do and use my time as best and as efficiently as possible. So that's something that you have to do as well with owning your own business, is being sure that you get all your stuff done. You don't want to just be sitting there and then, it's like, well, yeah, I have this to do, but if you create deadlines for yourself, you will get these things done. Another thing, be completely honest. So with anything that you're doing, so with your packaging, your photos, the shop. So be meticulous and be descriptive as well too. So you could be like, yes, this is a yellow shirt. Do you want it? Versus, the photos, the atmosphere, just everything that you're creating around this yellow shirt is what's going to be selling that. So you want to go ahead and be sure that you are completely honest with yourself of like, is this what's going to be selling? Is this what I really, really want to put out? Or, you want to also listen to your customers, listen to what they have to say, because their feedback is going to be much more valuable than your own feedback. Another thing that is repeated over and over in her actions is don't accept no. Don't listen to no. You just see over and over in her book, in her lifestyle, and the way that she just lives and everything as well. It's just, she does not take no for an answer. Like if you say no, she's gonna go this way. And she's gonna go ahead and do what she's gonna do anyway, just without you. You wanna go ahead and be sure that you do have that resilience, because in business and life as well in general, you are going to get rejected. That's inevitable. But how you take it and how you carry yourself afterwards is what really counts. A quote that I saw in here and I loved, and I was like, I gotta share it with y'all, is actually from David Foster Wallace. And it says, to be, in a word, unboardable is the key to modern life. If you're an imminent to boredom, there's literally nothing you cannot accomplish. And so this is the perfect time to actually use that quote and to apply it, which is basically use your time wisely. Do not be bored, which means that you're stagnant. You're not doing shit. You just are sitting there. You want to be sure that you use every single second. You don't want to be bored. You want to always have something that you're working on. You want to be continuing to move forward. Another thing that she talks about in here is recognize if you aren't happy with where you are and whether you should move or stay accordingly. So one thing that she talks about is that she wasn't happy with, her situation and everything. And so the doctor, her parents took her to the doctor. They were like, she's depressed, give her these medicines. And she was like, I'm not going to take those medicines because that isn't what's causing my depression. It's not a chemical fucking imbalance. It's something that is my environment. So I'm going to change that. And she went out and she changed it so much. She really did. It's great. And you need to figure out, is it something that you can help change, or is it something that you're like, okay, well, let's just take these and then keep in the same situation, which I'm depressed in, which I'm upset in. So that's another very important thing. Another major lesson, and something that I've heard, not only her, but multiple entrepreneurs say, is do not start your business for the money. If you're starting the money, you're one, in it for the wrong reasons, which I know you heard over and over again. And two, you're probably not going to end up making good money because you don't actually care about anything else. You want to go ahead and be sure that you have some type of passion and everything behind it as well. Her next lesson is to spend what you can truly afford and not what you can just borrow. So let's, give the example of credit cards. You want to be sure that you can go ahead and pay off that credit card immediately, but to help, build up your credit, rather than, well, I don't have any money, so I'll just go ahead and spend credit and hopefully maybe something comes in later, because those things will be taken away from you because you just are irresponsible with it. And something that her dad says in here as well is that you're only as good as your next month. And the thing is, you don't know what your next month has ahead. Sure, you can have, all these plans. Like I was in, insurance doing sales and stuff. You're going to have all these plans to be like, okay, well, this person's going to call, or I'm going to go ahead and close this deal next week. That's never actually a guarantee. The other person can be just easily as swooned by someone else who's going to go ahead and take their business, and you don't know. So you want to be sure that you have all your ducks in a row as much as possible. And, with where you are, and next month, it may be better, it may be worse, but where you are now is not what you should be focusing on. What you want to be focusing on is the future. How are we going to go ahead and make this happen next time? How are we going to go ahead and repeat this or do it better? Another really good quote in here is, when your time spent making money is significantly greater than your time spent spending money, you'll be amazed at how much you can save without even really thinking about it. You want to be valuable. You want your services to be something that people go back for. An example that she gave was, she had worked and made, I think it was let's say it was $12 an hour, and she was spending $8 on a sandwich. And I had never thought about this until she said it in the book. But basically, you want to make sure that what you're spending your money on is worth it. She never really had any problems with spending money or anything like that, because she also had, very hippie kind of things as well. So you want to be sure that you're spending your money wisely and that it's not a waste. Basically, you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your money, and both are extremely valuable. One you can never get back. Another thing that is so just wow, that's literally in your face. It's that she says, if you aren't getting what you want or where you want to be, have you tried asking for it? Literally just asking for a raise, asking, all right, where should I move? Calling the place you want to go ahead and buy or rent or anything like that. So much is in people's head that they're just like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and have this eventually. And then whenever they aren't there, they're like, wow, I did everything, but did you ask for it? Which is the simplest, most minuscule baby step thing. But you want to be sure that you actually did do every single thing, including just straight up, hey, can you raise my grade? I've been working really hard. Different things like that. So another one is one of her chapters where she says, don't live like a CEO if you're still a sandwich artist. She used to work at, I think it was Subway. She was a sandwich artist for them. And it's like, if she had tried to have this lavish lifestyle before she could even afford it, we would be in a whirlwind of troubles. You always want to be sure that you live below your means. She doesn't really talk about that too much in here, but you don't want to be spending money that you don't have. You don't want to be wasting time and resources on things that don't matter. You want to be sure that you build up. always. Another thing she says is to set practical goals and use the law of attraction, which is huge. I feel like I talk about this a lot, which is the law of attraction, which is saying, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and have a company by the end of this year. And you just have that in the back of your mind and you keep on going on with your life, and the law of attraction will kind of work for you, and it'll be like, okay, well, these are different people that I can have as resources. These are different things that I can do. These are different ideas. And you'll slowly see everything coming together, and it's wonderful. Another thing she says that I absolutely love is know where you are, acknowledge why you're there, but don't get drunk off your own success. Seeing your situation and seeing, okay, now how can we better this? But also, if you're in a huge successful spot as well too, don't like party it away necessarily. Don't, just spend it on frivolous things. Do not get drunk off your own success, because soon enough it is gone. Another lesson that she talks about, which is also an overarching theme in her book, is one dream is never enough. You don't want to sit there and be focused on one thing, because what if it doesn't happen, Well, you're going to make it happen eventually, but the thing is, you want to go ahead and have more than just one goal that you're working towards. Also, she does talk about resumes and cover letters. A few tips on those are going to be always have an objective written. Really, most people don't, and that'll separate you from the start. So what I have in all my resumes is at the very top, it'll be like, like Alyssa Gonzalez. It literally says objective and then whatever I'm applying for. Because most people is just like, here's a resume, and it is very general, and there we go. But you want to be sure that you have something more, something to separate you, which I have a whole other video on, which I can go ahead and link y'all to, which is kind of how make your resume stand out. But if y'all want more tips, we can always do that too. Another thing she talks about in here is the cover letter. So use the cover letter to say what you can contribute to the company and how you can basically help them. So a lot of people put in their cover letter, which is, they will put things like, I am applying for this position because it will go ahead and help me to go ahead and become a successful lawyer, or something like that. And it's like, wow, that's great that you're going to go ahead and use our company to just leave later. We don't want somebody who's just going to use us for the time being. So you can take yourself and go elsewhere. Do something that's going to say, all right, this is what I'm applying for, and this is why I can go help you and your company accelerate to where you want to be. And this is the resources and everything that I can use. So you use it to embellish a little bit more of what your resume says and to connect the dots, really. There's plenty more in the book about, resumes and cover letters and tips on that if y'all want to go ahead and look into it. Go ahead and move on to the next section now, though. It also says, when growing your business, it's always best to tweak as you go so you're growing constantly. And so that's really the same as anything. It's like, doing dishes. You want to wash dishes as you go instead of having a big pile at the end of the day kind of thing. And so what it is you want to constantly be improving so that you're constantly growing. Because if not, you really aren't growing. Like, you could have more customers, but you could have an exponential amount more if you just tweaked as you went. Like, you did it as you continued going by. Also, there are 3 rules of business that she talks about in here. The first one is do a good job. So it'll be styling, photography, the voice of the brand, all of it. You want to be sure that you do a good job with every single thing that you touch, because that is something that is going to build your brand and build your business and what people see and what represents you. The second rule is to keep your promises. So this is what they see is what they get, and be sure to over deliver. You give them a good promise on what they're going to get, but over deliver. And this is also especially important in packaging as well. Which, marketing major, this is something that, you focus on a lot, marketing, advertising. It's all about packaging. It's how you present things to people. So you want to be sure that you keep your promises and then some. And the third role is going to be to give your customers something to share. Social media. Hello. This is huge. You want to go ahead and, like I said, packaging. You want to be sure that people will go ahead and be like, wow, this is amazing. Let me go ahead and put it out here, because this is something that I want to share. This is something that I'm excited about. Not because I was asked to do it, but because I want to do it, because it's great. Just talking about, remember social media. Why should you share these things? Why should your customer want to share these things? You want to be sure that your content and your product and everything is going to be top tier, that they just feel good about. They want to share their experience with other people. This last section here is going to be 5 tips for you to look good and your business to look good for investors. So the first thing she talks about is good people. Have good people on your team. Make sure that your investors have good people as well too, because that speaks volumes about your brand more than just, well, these are our numbers, this is what we do. Yeah, we have like crap people on the team, but they get what they need to done. You want to be sure that you have everybody excited, everyone around you excited about what you do. And your investors will also be able to see that. And it's that transparency that they can see and that you feel good about. The second one is scalability, which also ties into the first one. So the first one is, the good people around you will help scale your business. But the second is scalability, to stay ahead of your market and to show that you can withstand market change as well. With, Nasty Gal, it started off with, vintage thrifting clothes that she did. And then it moved on to, becoming a brand and, having massive amounts. And you want to keep that lifestyle and that everything, and you want to keep everything consistent. But you also want to be sure that you change with the times. So you want to be sure that you change with the times to cater to your demographic as well too, because they're going to be changing while everything else is changing around you. And if your business is staying the same, you will not survive. The third tip is going to be have an evidence of demand. Your investors want to see that people want your goods and services, because if you're like, yes, I have a company that makes pens, and that is all, you want to show them, yes, this is our following. This is why our customers are excited about our products. And this is what we're going to go ahead and do to create more excitement, to create more revenue, to create more buzz around what we do. This is our market, this is our demand, and this is real. The fourth thing is going to be outside validation. So this is similar to whenever you give your resume and then you also have your list of references. It's good for you to pump up yourself, but it's even better coming from a different person's mouth. So, like with Sophia, she could be talking about her book forever, but if, there's a different social media influencer that you follow and that says good things about her book, that's going to want to get you excited about reading her book more than her, because you just have different connections. It's different people saying the same things about her and that you're like, wow, this is actually great. This is something that I should look into, and you will. And the fifth and final thing here is going to be uniqueness. So how good is your idea and the creativity around it as well. What is separating your company from the other three companies that I'm looking at that are in the exact same market? They all sell clothes that cater to, females ages 16 to 25. What makes yours different? You want to have the uniqueness, the creativity around it, and what you do and why your brand is so different from the rest. You want to have that uniqueness factor to it. That's basically Girl Boss and a little synopsis. I definitely recommend going to read it though. It's just entertaining. It's just a great book, and I really love Sophia. I've never met her, but I really love her from her book. It's great. So the overarching kind of lesson that I had gotten from this, I wrote down, is own your style, own your creativity, and own your brand. Whatever you have, you work it, and you work it to its best, and just it'll all come together for you eventually. So, like I said, I really did enjoy this book. That's the reason that I went ahead and shared it with y'all. I really do not get paid to do these book reviews. I just, read a book that I really like. I get excited about it. I share it with y'all. I hope that y'all liked this book. If you have any recommendations, leave them below. I would love to go ahead and read more. If y'all have any questions or anything like that as well too, leave them in the comments below, and I look forward to talking to y'all in my next book review. Bye guys.